Hi everybody, welcome. I'm Abaya and it's time to reset. So grab a chair if you haven't already, place it on your yoga mat so all four legs are actually on the grippy surface, and then center yourself in the free space of your mat. The chair should be to your right hand side. And we'll start kneeling. If you'd like to grab a block or a cushion, you're welcome to do that. And try separating the knees a little wider than the hips and notice how that base of support feels. Close the eyes if it feels comfortable and just connect with your next few breath cycles. And then we'll sync some movement with the breath. So as you inhale, just gently drag the hands along the thighs towards the body. Let the front of the body open, gaze up slightly. As you exhale, gently push the hands forward. Let the back of the body fill and expand, gaze down. Continue with your own breath and allow your breath to actually generate the movement. The body just follows this subtler inner guide. And the next time you roll up, pause there, tilt the hips over to the right, and take a nice easy twist to the right, twisting from the bottom up. Continue to breathe smoothly and naturally. Notice how the breath massages the back body, the organs. And then untwist just a little bit, bend the right elbow, and just take some springs on the right elbow. And allow the joints to crease gently and evenly so you don't feel this too much on any one of your joints. And the next time you start to float up, lift the left hand and start to swipe the horizon over towards your chair. And we'll repeat this a few times. Gently twisting and untwisting, but allow the pulling of the arm to naturally integrate into the spine so you don't feel it much in the shoulder. It's more about the spine. The next time you start to swipe open to the left, start to lift your knees and roll all the way over to the other side, and we'll do that same thing. I know you've got your back to me, but you've already done it, so I believe in you. Bring the left hand to the mat and just gently bounce into that left hand a couple of times, and the computer will short out in a moment, and just trust that it'll come back. Just kidding. Hopefully that's not going to happen again. And see if you can connect to your breath as you just softly spring through the arm, letting the joints fold gently and naturally. And then the next time the fingertips come down, pause, ever so gently twist to the left from the bottom all the way up, gaze over the shoulder, take a couple of soothing breaths. And then reach the right hand up towards the horizon and start to swipe it open to the right. And then let it sweep back over to the left. And just notice how that action of reaching with the arm integrates all the way into the heart. I like to think of the arm as a rudder, and our heart is the ship. So as you change where the rudder is pointing, the whole ship changes direction. And the next time you swipe over to the right, roll all the way over to the right like you did before. And then let the feet inch out a little just in case that felt tight at all. And we'll go back and forth through those swipes all the way over the hips to the other side, right into the swiping twist. And just make sure the knees and the feet and the hips are happy. So if you feel like things are a little too tight, just give yourself more space by scooching the feet forward a little bit. So we're kind of putting all those actions together. There's still that little bounciness in the bottom arm, that nice swiping rudder. Nice. Beautiful. Take one more to each side, and the next time you're facing me, you're balanced and complete. Okay, Great. So we'll pause there. Walk the right hand over to the right. Place the left hand down and just slowly drop the knees so you're in a tabletop facing your chair. Lower one forearm at a time and then lift back up on one hand at a time. And try the next round extra slow so you can just feel a little bit more in the shoulders, in the core, and then go the opposite direction. So that just means the opposite elbow goes down first, the opposite hand plants first. And the next time you're on your forearms, walk the forearms down just a little bit and allow the heart to start to melt. And no need to go super deep here. Be very compassionate. Just bring the forehead to the mat. Push the forearms down gently so that there's still some integration in the shoulders and you're not over flexing. And then flatten the tops of the feet and very slowly let the hips drag towards the heels. Let the forehead and arms drag on the mat. Just leave behind any thoughts, any tension, and we'll meet in Bhaktasana. Connect with your breath flow here. Take a couple of breaths. And then tent the fingertips. Walk them forward so the arms stretch just a little bit. Push down into the shins, slowly rolling up towards cat pose so the spine is rounding, the front edge of the body sucking up towards the back edge like what we did before. When the shoulders make it over the wrists, pause, and when you inhale next, pull back and wide with the hands, just letting the heart peek through for our Exalted Cow. I call it exalted because you might have a little longer stance than usual. And then exhale, push into the hands, round the spine, going back the way you came. And we'll take a few more of these at our own pace. And so each inhale you push down into the shins, rolling forward through cat into Exalted Cow. Make sure there's no pressure in the low back as you do that. And then you can exhale and melt back, hips to heels. And just notice this pathway because we'll be doing it again later and our hands will be on the chair, which makes it super fun. But I just want you to be familiar with it before we get there. And the next time you're in Exalted Cow, pause there and slowly let the front edge of the body suck up to meet the back edge so the spine neutralizes. You're like working against gravity. And then walk the hands back just a little bit so they're underneath the shoulders. Bring the left knee forward, let the right hand reach, and we're just crawling towards our chair. Opposite hand and foot, and then you can actually crawl up on your chair. It really is like a baby. They're like, yay, now I can stand. So congratulations, your first moment standing. And then let's bring one foot down and then the other, and actually bring your shoulders over your wrists. You can paw out the hands a little bit, bend the knees so all the joints are happy, and then allow the heart to sink. And then push into the hands, allow the shoulders to wrap wide, and do a couple of these Serratus Push-Ups, they're called, because they activate the serratus muscle that wraps the shoulder on the body, often helping to relieve stress in the neck and upper shoulders. And see if you can breathe here and move a little less, so you're not going quite as deep. It actually, I find, takes more awareness and even more strength to find this muscle without going to these end range points. And then just for fun, because we have a chair and we can, take a little step closer to the chair, bend the knees a little bit, bring the forearms to the chair and rest your head on your forearms. Bend the knees as deeply as possible, or I should say so deeply that there's no tension in the low back, and just take a moment in a restorative forward fold. And keyword restorative, so do anything you need to make this comfortable, bending the knees a little bit more, adjusting the arms, breathing slowly, deeply into the back body all the way down, hamstrings, calves, soles of feet. And then one hand at a time, push yourself back up and slowly shift the weight back. Hands come to thighs and just roll up one vertebra at a time. You can support yourself with your arms, or you can let the arms float and just pause at the top. Take a moment to feel what it's like to be in your body right now. Okay, and now we'll try one of those waving vinyasas on our chair. So place the hands back down and slowly start to inch the feet back. And just imagine that the spine is able to pour forward out of the pelvis as it reaches back. And eventually you'll find a place where the hands, the shoulders, and the hips can be in one straight line, but bend the knees deeply. So again, no tension. And if you're a more flexible type person, you might notice that the heart kind of sinks here. Try to remember those Serratus Push-Ups and wrap the shoulders and just feel that resisting of gravity. That helps you be a little more neutral. Take a breath and then hover the heels coming onto the balls of the feet. Bend the knees deeply and push into the balls of the feet, slowly rolling forward like you did into cat pose, coming all the way until the shoulders are over the wrists and you're puffed up, a big puffy plank. Take a breath, and then as you inhale, drag the hands back. Let the heart reach forward. So this is sort of like our Exalted Cow. The hips might lower a little, but keep the elbows springy and make sure there's no tension in the low back. So we're coming into a little bit of a back bend here. And then the exhale will bend the knees, push into the hands to send the hips back to a modified downward facing dog. We'll do a couple on your own. Inhaling forward, rolling through that cat shape with the spine. And then allowing the spine to unfurl in our modified upward facing dog. From here, let's add on. So push into the hands, coming into a neutral plank, right hand underneath the right heart. The right heart. You guys have extra hearts today. Right hand underneath the heart, swivel the heels to the right, and slowly lift the left hand for a modified side plank. And then slowly lift the hips, arcing the body ever so gently. No need to go very far. Back circle with the arm, and as it circles forward, let it go to the chair. And we'll take a waving vinyasa and then go to the other side. So push back to our downward facing dog. Roll forward on your inhale to up dog. And then make your way to the neutral plank, left hand underneath the heart. Bend the knees a little bit, swivel the heels to the left, and circle the arm back, up and over. And as the arm reaches up, you can let the side body open just a little bit. And then circle the arm back, down, and as it reaches forward, you return to the chair. One more waving vinyasa. And then start to walk the feet up and push into the feet to slowly come to standing, and just pause for a moment and standing. And then turn to face me and give yourself some room so you're centered in the free space of your mat. And then walk the feet wide, turn the toes out, and just take a couple of very gentle bends with the knees. You can place the hands on the thighs and match the angle of the thighs with the angle of the feet. It helps me to anchor my big toe and let the knees come a little extra wide so that I have more support from my gluteal muscles. And the next time you lower, the hands can hover, and just take a couple of pulses here as the arms swoop down, the hips hover. And then play with exhaling down and inhaling up. And the next time you're down, turn the feet to the right for Virabhadrasana 2. And just take a moment in stillness and let the shoulders soften. See how much ease you can find here. And then right hand to thigh, reach the left arm up, lengthening the whole left side of the body, but don't worry about going very far. Try to feel more of that lightness. Nice, that was a great modification, Radharani. On your next exhale, hover the right hand, and then inhale to float it down. And you can always hold one of those movements or just take a couple of pulses and notice how the hovering of the arm turns on or lights up these very subtle deep core muscles. The next time the hand lifts, turn to look at the right knee, come on to the ball of the left foot and bounce the left foot forward until you're facing the chair. Plant the hands onto the chair, step the right foot back into down dog, in quotation marks, and then hold here if you'd like, or take one of those waving vinyasas. It's up to you. And then let's meet in down dog if you're not already there. Step the right foot towards the chair. Bend the right knee and just gently soften using the chair for modified Parsvottanasana. The forearms can come to the chair, the back of the neck lengthens. Wag the tail a little bit. Just swaying the hips from side to side so you can massage through your 4 different hamstring muscles. And then bend the right knee, push down into the chair, turn the toes to the side of the mat and come up, and we'll do that same thing on the other side. So toes out, take a couple of pulses with the hips. We'll go right into our swooping goddess and give yourself some space. Maybe the feet want to inch out a little bit more after doing this one more time. And then pause in the low moment, turn the feet to the left, and just take a couple of breaths in Virabhadrasana 2. And make sure the knees feel supported and the pelvis feels light. If not, try inching the back foot in a little bit more. And then left hand to thigh, lengthen the whole right side of the body. And with each exhale, you can play with hovering that bottom arm. Feel free to hold one of those shapes or just keep pulsing. And notice any sense of lightness or deep support as you do this. The next time the left arm reaches, slowly pivot to the left, lift the right foot so that you can shorten that stance. Oh no, there's no chair. That's okay, that was on purpose. So there's no chair over here. So just to simplify things, we're going to take a big sweep all the way over to the right, plant our hands on the chair, and then just switch legs. So it's like you magically had a chair in the right place. And so bend the left knee, and we'll take our modified Parsvottanasana on the other side. Make any adjustments. I scooched closer to the chair, so feel free to try that if it would be more supportive. And then remember, you've got the nice sways with the hips to release the low back and to access different points on the back of the leg and the back of the calves. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure you're not overworking in the shoulders. And then slowly push into the hands. Step the right foot forward. And let's do another one of those supported forward folds. So bend the knees deeply. Lower onto the forearms. The bonus here is that the forehead gets to make contact with something solid so that your physical body can relax. And the mind can relax. If you'd like, you can play with swaying the hips a little bit here. And then gently push down into the arms so the head hovers. Lower one knee at a time. Bring the hands to the edge of the chair and then lower the hands down. Be careful of not hitting your head on the chair, and just crawl backwards, giving yourself a little bit of space between you and your chair. Knees wide, big toes touch. Press the hips back and just melt into the mat. Let everything soften. Notice if your breath feels a little bit closer, a little easier to witness. And then tent the fingertips, shift the weight into the heels, and roll up one vertebra at a time, letting the hands slide in. And when you arrive seated on the heels, no need to rush there. Just notice what it feels like to be present in your body in the same position that we started in. And just be conscious of any new awareness you have in the body and beyond. And try to maintain that level of connection with the breath and this inner space as you grab your cushion and set up for meditation.
It's funny, there's that old saying, Shakespeare said all the world's a stage. But the yogic tradition adds to that all the world is a masquerade, the masquerade of Shiva. And everywhere we look, everything we feel, touch, taste, think, is the mask of Shiva called māyā. And it's a type of illusion that keeps us from experiencing our true nature. This māyā, this illusion, is not just a passive thing. It's actually an intricate, perfectly orchestrated illusion that even has a gravity to it. According to the sutras, this māyā is sort of pulls our awareness with force away from our true nature. So that's a pretty big deal. So that means we have to use some effort to pull it back in, right? So at any given moment, we're either sort of buying into the mask of Shiva, buying into the illusion, and feeling the drama, or we're using our practice to peel away that mask and to re-experience our true nature. Now, sometimes it comes across like, oh, well, if I do that, then the play is over. The masquerade party's over. Not according to the yogic tradition. This is really when you go from just being a passive audience member to being a part of the production. And so it's really an expansion of awareness. Because we are constantly being played by this mask. According to the sutras, we might be aware of our true nature, when we finish our sit in the beginning of our day, or when we sit at the end of our day. But that middle of the day, we get played by hunger, thirst, every aspect of daily life. And therefore, sutras say, the one who desires to achieve the highest being should not be attached too much to this mask, these outer impressions. So we can lift ourselves out of this state. That's our practice, right? We can redirect our awareness from the illusion to Shiva. It's just a redirection. No matter how caught up in a drama or an emotion we might be at any given time, all we have to do is redirect our awareness. It's not easy, but it's totally possible. The sutras describe it like this. When their nature is snatched away by an inferior type of trance, the yogi meditates thinking, this whole universe is one with myself. And by doing so, the yogi perceives the fullness of God consciousness in each and every action, and they again rise in their own nature. You're welcome to say that to yourself. This whole universe is one with myself. This whole universe is one with myself. Of course, that phrase is encapsulated in every aspect of our practice. Every mantra we repeat is really saying this concept. When we say Ham Sa, the silent mantra of the breath. I am that. It is this we are saying, that the universe is one with ourself. When we bow with respect to Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, this is what we're saying. When we deeply wish to grow, this is what we're saying. This is the practice of surrender. And essentially, we're trying to go from focusing on the little pieces to experiencing our actual being, the being that resides behind this. So from your seat, allow your breath flow to get steady. Allow the shoulders to relax, and you can swallow. Keep that suction in the mouth and allow the crown to lift through the spine a 1/4 of an inch. Even your posture right now is a way of peeling away the mask, peeling away the illusion. Being able to focus on this upright posture with effortless effort is a way of detaching, and a way of using the body to its fullest potential. And then bringing your awareness to your breath flow. Smoothing out the breath. And you can try on the slight smile. And why that's funny is because it feels a bit like a mask. But according to the yogic tradition, our true nature is actually bliss. And so anything but a smile is the mask. And so that slight smile is actually peeling away the mask. Allow that slight smile and another swallow to direct the breath to the heart. And try to make that connection at the heart, not just in a visualization, but in a part of your being. This is your true nature. We might not know it or be fully experiencing it, but this is the home of your true nature. This is where we will find it. Feel the radiance of your being. Feel the aura of your posture, the aura of your awareness. Feel it 3-dimensionally, not just in front of you, but also behind you and to the sides of you. Below you and above you. As you breathe in and out, you can gently repeat the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. I bow with respect to the inner self. Om Namah Shivaya. Silently as you breathe in and out. Perhaps the face has relaxed. You might not have the physical slight smile, but you have the inner experience of contentment. Occasionally, as we drift into a thought or lose awareness altogether, the slight smile can rekindle the practice. So slight, and then the breath and the mantra just as slight. These tools are just tools. They point us towards our being. Feel your being whenever you can. Let the tool direct you there. Feel yourself as Shiva behind the mask. There's no ridding ourselves of the mask. It's a part of reality. It's losing touch with the wearing of it, with the being behind the mask. That's our responsibility. What is the being, the experience of being, feel like behind your thoughts, behind the surface of your body? Holding the awareness of your being behind the mask is a natural effort, one that we're all capable of doing with a simple redirecting of our awareness. Of course, it takes practice, and our effectiveness at it grows as we practice. But the actual doing of it is intuitive, natural, and a relief. Because no matter how much we like our masks, taking them off always feels better. Always feels like a release, a letting go, an experience of something more you. And so hopefully with just a few minutes of practice today, you can feel that lightness of taking off a layer of our mask and letting a little bit more of our being shine through. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Happy Halloween.